First of all, honored that I was even considered to tell such an amazing, or be a part of such an amazing story. Just honored. But initially when I got the script, I just was upset. I was hurt, I was mad, I was annoyed that we didn't know. How come I have never heard her name? And I actually tried to study electrical engineering at a historically black university where Ron McNair went. He had a building, still didn't hear her. Never heard of these women. Never knew women had anything to do with NASA. Knew about men, Ron McNair has a building, but no mention of these women.
I think it's all about, I love the metaphor, Hidden Figures, because it's about bringing those people out of the shadows, those women who contributed out of the shadows. Now, there are 3 black women who did extraordinary things. We get to hear their story, but there were a lot of women, both black and white, and this is an homage to all of them. Even though it's highlighting these 3 women, this is an homage to all of these women to say, yes, you were on the team. We know you weren't mentioned in Apollo 13. We know if we look at all of the archival footage, we don't see an image of a woman. Maybe there's somebody walking through with a cup of coffee for somebody, but we don't know that women were integral to the space race, and that's what's important.
She's Mary Jackson, Miss Mary Jackson, and she goes on to become the first African-American female engineer at NASA. And then she later decided, okay, I'm gonna stop being an engineer, took a pay cut and worked in HR to advance the careers of other women and minorities after she saw that, women were not being hired, minorities were not being paid the same amount as the majority. So I think that this woman wanted justice. She wanted justice for her friends, for the colored computers, for all the women in NASA, and she wanted justice for herself. They told her, you can't be an engineer, you're a woman. We don't take women in this class. You're black. You can't come here, it's not for colored people. But she still persevered, she still fought, and she made it, and she made history, and I'm just so honored. I just hope she's proud. Her spirit, I prayed about it every time before I went in. Please reduce Janelle and allow Mary Jackson to speak through me. And so the essence of who she was and what she was fighting for came through, and it was just such a privilege and an honor to work alongside these brilliant ladies. I'm a huge fan, I've always been of Octavia and Taraji. And the sisterhood, I want to mention, is something that's so important. When women stick together, we make things happen. We make the impossible happen.
It's a very big part of the movie, and I think it's a very important part of the movie, especially nowadays where, we get all of these crazy posts of young women fighting and, getting into Twitter battles, women and girls, and hating on each other. Like, women are not my competition, they're my allies. Absolutely. Like, we need each other. And that's what this movie shows. We weren't fighting and clawing and kicking each other, trying to get this job and stabbing somebody in the back. We were a unit trying to make a difference.
Trying to change the world.
Trying to change the world. And how can you do that by yourself? You need allies, you need your sisters, and so I think this is a beautiful image for young women to see that this is how women should stick together. Look at how they stuck together and look what they were able to accomplish. Oh God, she was a single mother. At the time she had lost her first husband. She had 3 daughters. Her mother lived with her. She didn't spend a lot of time with her children because she had to work. She was the only breadwinner in the household. So she had to work. And she was passionate about her work. Never did she think she was gonna do these great things. She just really was just trying to provide for her family. What an amazing opportunity. She thought, wow, I get to utilize these amazing degrees that I have, but never once did she think she would get in that room. It's like when you were, before Barack Obama and little black kids, when you say, where you wanna be when you grow up? And President I never really seen
Right.
anybody do it. You know what I mean? So she didn't think she didn't go in there thinking that she was going to become the first. She was just going to work every day. And then again, opportunity meets preparation, and now we have a hero. She was the mind, the only mind in NASA who was able to find the figures. That's another meaning behind the title, Hidden Figures. These are figures that we didn't have. This math did not exist. She had to find the math, and she did. And she was able to get our men to orbit.
Sexism.
Well, I mean, it's kind of
Everywhere.
still okay. You know, this was in the era at the birth of the civil rights movement, so there was that, and we know that feminism it only came about during the early '70s, so there was that, and then they were moms. They had home lives, so there was that. So there were obstacles within their own families, but then society gave them even more obstacles, but that they had to persevere, and they did.
Everything's separate, everything's segregated. She's happy to be there. Then you don't think about, oh, I have to go to the bathroom. You know, don't think about it until you have to. And then she's looking, because sure, there should be a bathroom here. And then she thinks, oh, it's where we are, the West Wing, which is like a mile away. Rain, sleet, hail, snow, sunshine, doesn't matter. Those were the conditions she was under. And not only that, we were women. We had to wear skirts. We had to wear dresses. So they had bikes for us to get around, but we couldn't. How you gonna ride a bike with a dress? So when I say every obstacle stacked against them, just going to the bathroom was an obstacle.
Wow.
Well, Dorothy Vaughn was the acting supervisor of the West Computer Group. They had two. They had East and West, and East was populated by Caucasian, and the West Group was African American. Although the African Americans were the majority of them were college educated, the Caucasian unit, they weren't. The majority of them were not college educated. And Dorothy was actually a visionary, a progressive. If I would give her I don't know, an adjective to describe her. When IBMs first came about, they weren't these tiny little laptop computers or even the little units that people have. They were the size of this room, giant machines, and they couldn't get them to work. And she would sneak into the computer lab and try to figure out how to do it, because she could disassemble a car, anything, and put it back together and get it to work, and she did. She was the one who just figured out how to use the IBM and then figured out how to program them and taught all of the women how to program an IBM.
Absolutely, yeah. Wanting to seek justice in my life. I'm still a woman. I'm still a woman of color, and making sure that when, I walk in any type of room, that I'm not always looked at as the other, or that I have to constantly work twice as harder, as my male counterparts, as the majority in the world. I feel that still. I think that this movie reminds us that we still have unfinished business. I mean, with Mary Jackson, again, she was not going to get told no because of the color of my skin or because I'm a woman. Let it be because I don't know how to do the work, but clearly she knew that she was not just going to sit back and take a secretarial job, no disrespect, but she's like, I have the mind of an engineer. Like, clearly I can help change the world. My dreams were valid. And I think for all of us, I mean, even today, there are dreams that I have that are valid that I will not allow someone to strip me of because of the way that I was born.
It was amazing. I was at a loss for words. I felt like I was in the room with royalty. That's just how I felt. To have a mind so brilliant, to know that you sent men where no man has ever been. You hadn't even been there, but you sent them there. How powerful is that? How powerful that must feel. But yet, she's very humble. Like, she's so gracious.
Did you say she was like a we? Like, we did it, not...
Every all the footage that I've seen of interviews and even talking to her, I would say you. She said, well, we. Very selfless.
Well, Pharrell's music is, if these women were the body of the film, his music is the heartbeat. It's amazing. You can't have one without the other. It's just that symbiotic, I think.
I mean, every song is. He does this amazing song called "Running."
Yeah, incredible.
But it makes it okay. You tell me, let's go see this movie about space. I'm not going. I failed pre-calc. I don't care. I don't want to know about numbers. But what we've done with this film is, in a way, it's like action-packed.
Yeah,
it's funny.
It's everything.
It's a musical.
You run the gamut of emotions when you see
You really
this.
do.
Oh, these are your new superheroes. That's the exciting thing. We've seen so many of the same stories told. This is a new wave. This is a new time to be inspired. And you have new role models now. And because, we just got finished telling you everything these women went through and the fact that they persevered and they changed the world and they did the impossible, there's hope. Your dreams are valid and you can do it too.